Hey guys, um, it's me, redacted ASMR, or Eric, if you prefer. um, so I just wanted to say first off that the response to this Q&A has been, um, really crazy, um, but in a really good way. I got way more of a response than I ever would have expected. So for that, I just wanted to say thanks. Um, that's, yeah, it was just crazy. Secondly, I guess I just wanted to also say that, I didn't really know exactly how to organize this. I tried to do it a couple different ways. I downloaded the comments and stuff and tried to sort through them because, there definitely was some repeat questions. So I was trying to figure out how to handle that exactly. But I think an easy way to do it is literally to just kind of go through them, from oldest to newest. And if it's something I've already answered or something, I'm not comfortable with answering, then I'll just skip it. Yeah. And YouTube is kind of annoying and won't let me, sort from oldest to newest. So I have to, scroll up instead of scroll down, which is just a little thing that annoys me. And probably no one else cares, but, yeah. So I'm probably not going to do too much heavy editing on this, so there might be some random noises and stuff like that. And if that's the case, I'm sorry, but yeah, let's just get into it because it's probably going to take a while. So a lot of the comments are just people saying congratulations without any kind of a question, which I still appreciate just as much as a question. It was very sweet to read through all the comments because I've read through them all so far, and to have a lot of people saying congratulations and you deserve this and all those kind of things. It's very sweet. And I'm not necessarily great at expressing that other than to just say thank you guys very much. I know that it's my channel and it's my content, but that number of 10,000, or well, actually now it's 11,000, but either way, that number is you guys. It's not me. So thank all of you, really, for subscribing and for commenting and liking and all of those things. It really makes it all worth it, and it really, I don't know, it's really validating in a lot of ways. So I just want to say thanks for that right off the bat, because there's going to be a lot of comments that say things like that, and I'm probably not going to call them out when I'm going through this, but I have read each and every one of them, and I really, really appreciate each and every one of them. So, the first one was a question that isn't really directed at me, but Madison says, did I leave my class for this? And then yes. And all I have to say to that is you should not leave your class for my content. School is very important, and it's something that I think people should put, more stock into. So please don't leave class for my stuff. It's not worth it, and it's not going anywhere. You can always watch it afterwards. So yeah, pay attention in class because that matters. Even when it's really, really boring. I get that. Okay, so Milk Dud Cartoons asks, well, it says congrats, which thank you, Milky. Says, how's Duncan doing? So Milk Dud Cartoons is on my Discord, and a lot of the commenters are on my Discord, which is a really fun place. We talk about a lot of different stuff. not just the videos. In fact, most of the conversations aren't even about the videos. It's just kind of about, people finding friends and stuff. And that's really cool. And that's been a really rewarding part of this to see, is that, my content can bring people together, even when the thing that they're then, connecting on has nothing to do with my content. That's a really cool thing to see, that it can kind of foster something like that. But that's kind of jumping ahead too. I'm sure people have probably asked stuff along those lines later. This question is, how's Duncan doing? But I said that just to say that Duncan is my dog, and I've posted pictures of him on Discord. And Duncan is doing good. He's still being a hellion. Oh, there goes my computer. That's gonna be kind of annoying. That's gonna be really annoying, actually. Let me see if I can. Okay. So Duncan's doing good. He is, for those of you who don't know, he's half corgi, half they don't really know what. I don't know. I found him on Craigslist. But he's very sweet and he's doing very good. He's also evil and a beast from hell, but I love him anyway. He also asks, what inanimate object do you wish you could eliminate from existence? I don't know. Inanimate object. Oh God. I read all the questions, but I didn't really think about my answers. What inanimate object? Now I'm literally just looking around my room, trying to find stuff that I think should go away. Inanimate. I was gonna say, if it can be animate, like just get rid of mosquitoes, but that doesn't really count because that's not inanimate. I don't know. Oh God. Shit. Oh, okay. No. Get rid of like dongles or whatever the fuck they're called. Oh, well, yeah, I'm gonna cuss in this. Sorry. I just do a lot. Whatever those little things that I think they're called, a dongle that like connects like wireless stuff, like your wireless mouse and your wireless keyboard. Get rid of all of those ones that don't work well, because there is nothing more frustrating than like trying to type and it's like missing letters because you can't be more than a foot away from it. At which point, like, why is it even wireless? So get rid of bad dongles, I guess. That was not a good answer. Great start. Okay. Lots of congrats. Thank you guys. Okay. Question. Can you do a deep voice? I'm just curious. A friend told me to ask. Not a very deep voice. I just don't have a very deep voice. It just kind of is what it is. Davey kind of pushes my voice pretty deep. Well, more recently, when I've tried to make Davey a little deeper over time. So his can kind of push me to about as deep as I can go reliably. Like, yeah, I can talk like really deep, but that sounds stupid. Like, so like reliably, Davey's one of the deeper ones I can do. And I guess in that most recent vampire video, Sam, I tried to make his voice pretty deep and accented, which was a whole thing. Oh God. So can I do a deep voice? It depends on your definition of deep. Not particularly. And second question, say this out loud, please. You are a QT. So there you go. Let's see. My question is, if you could be part of any TV family, which would it be? Oh God. I don't watch that much TV. So there's that. I mean, okay, well, my Discord people are gonna make fun of me again, but I'm a total Star Trek nerd. Like, dyed in the wool Star Trek nerd. Like, it's a lot. It's really bad. Um, and the crew is kind of a family on a lot of those. Especially on some of them where they kind of push that, like on Next Generation or like Voyager or Deep Space Nine. They really kind of push like the family aspect of it. So like, I'd love to be part of that family, but not necessarily the family part. Mostly just because I could be in Star Trek part. But anyway, okay. Um, okay. Sorry. Uh, Next up. Okay. I have a few questions. Okay. Number one, how do you come up with the ideas for your videos? So it really depends on the video. And I know a lot of people kind of asked this sort of question. For some of them, I'll try to kind of start with an idea of more of like a plot that I want to do. So, especially when I was starting out, I knew that there are kind of some staples for like roleplay ASMR, like a comfort audio and a reverse comfort audio, um, kind of things like that, kind of archetypical videos that a lot of people make. So for some of them, I try to think about, okay, what's a kind of video that I think people would like, that maybe is kind of popular or common, but then how do I do that in my like universe that I've created? How do I do that in a way that tells you more about my characters and furthers their story? So I kind of look at it from that perspective sometimes. In terms of, so I'll go with that for this one, because I know that some of the other questions go a little bit more in depth, like toward like character narrative. But in terms of like just general ideas for videos, like what kind of video they would be, a lot of that comes from what haven't I done, what do I want to do, what are things that other people have created in the past, but then how can I change those and in some cases maybe improve on them, and in other cases just kind of translate that into my universe, stuff like that. I don't really want to get into relationship stuff, so I'm going to skip those ones, just FYI. What's your favorite color? My favorite color is probably gray, which is really boring. A lot of people give me shit about that. But I just like it a lot. I feel like most of my wardrobe is white, gray, and black. So really any of those are probably my favorite color. But I mean, if you like gun to my head, like, give us an actual color, it'd probably be probably blue, I guess. What inspired you to start your channel? So this is kind of a long one. I've been writing stuff, like stories and stuff, for a really long time. And that was something that I always really enjoyed and that I was really passionate about. And then later on in life, I discovered ASMR, and I really liked it from a relaxation perspective. And then, there goes my phone, sorry. And then, as time wore on, I found and as time went on, I then found the and then as time went on, I found more of like the ASMR roleplay kind of realm of YouTube, and I really enjoyed that. So I was inspired by a lot of other creators, just from really liking their stuff and wanting to have my own attempt at it. which I think some other people have asked later, like specific people. So I'll save some of that for a little bit later. But in general, yeah, I was inspired just by the rest of the community, because I've been listening to it for years now and really enjoying it. And I, originally was planning on just writing these scripts and then giving them to other creators. And then over time, I kind of decided that, one, I was too nervous to send them to anybody because I was afraid that they would tell me that they were bad. And then the other fear of mine was that, they would take them, but then once they had done them, that I wouldn't like the way that it had come out. So I kind of came to the conclusion that the only way to tell the story exactly how I wanted from the very beginning would be to write it and perform it myself. And that took me a long time to get up the courage to actually do. So that's part of why it took me so long to actually start a channel. And also why, if you look, you can see that this channel technically was created in October of 2019. It took me a long time to even make the channel. And then, considering my first video was put up on July 11th, 2020, you can clearly see that it took then even longer to actually bite the bullet and put stuff on the channel. So, yeah. But I think we'll dig into that a little bit more later. So the last question from this person was favorite artists and songs. Let's see, what are some of my favorite artists? I like so much. I like Fall Out Boy. I like Friendship. I like Ali X. I like oh god, yeah, let me kind of look at my phone. Here's some of the more recent stuff. Sorry, also my computer is so annoying. Normally I wouldn't be recording with it this close to the computer, but I'm trying to read the script, so not read the script, sorry, read the comments. I love a band called Anberlin. They're really good. Yeah, I don't know. I listen to all kinds of stuff. Those are just kind of ones that I can think of off the top of my head. Favorite songs. My favorite song right now is probably Mi Amore by Friendship. I really like that song. Or Science by Ali X. That's another one that I really like a lot. Right now. It changes fairly often. I forgot you started 2 months ago. Sometimes I forget too. It feels simultaneously like it has been no time and that I've been doing this for a long time. It's weird. Okay, so sort of a basic question, but what inspired you to make this kind of content? Did you grow up reading about werewolves and vampires and other spooky creatures and went from there, or was it something else? So this is getting in a little bit more into the kind of the video side of things. So kind of the subjects that I do. I mean, I read and watched a lot of werewolf and vampire and supernatural stuff. Although ironically not the show Supernatural. I never watched that. but yeah, I watched a lot of that stuff. I read a lot of that stuff when I was a kid. I've always loved paranormal stuff. I don't know. I just think it's really cool. I think a lot of times real life can be really boring. So it's fun to think about places universes where there's powers and stuff like that and different, creatures and things. I think that's really cool. So that was kind of part of what I wanted to put into my videos, was because I like consuming that content so much that I thought it would be fun to create some of my own and put it out. But yeah, and recently, more recently with ASMR roleplays being a thing, because I liked that stuff when I was younger. Now I was like, oh, here's like a new, kind of a medium of that. So I definitely took some inspiration from some of that, just the prevalence of vampire and werewolf content and stuff on here. Other people had done it, and it kind of seemed like a good fit that, the community had an interest in. Like, I kind of try to find a middle ground of, what are things that the community seems to have an interest in and that I am also interested in creating and telling for myself. And wherever those things cross over, then I think you have a good video. And I will say, I will also go on the, kind of the one side of that, where it's like, if there's something that I want to tell and I don't know that there's necessarily much viewership of that kind of content yet, that doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. If it's a story I want to tell, then I'm going to tell it. But on the other side of that, to say that there is content that people want, but that maybe I don't personally have a story idea to make, I'm probably never going to do that kind of stuff. Like, just from my perspective, I feel like if it's not content that I actually wanted to make, then that's going to show. So, yeah, for me, it's either I have to find that middle ground of what I think people would want and I want to tell it, or, whether people want it or not, I want to tell it, I'm going to tell it. That kind of a thing. Which isn't exactly an answer to your question. I kind of drifted, but I do that a lot. Sorry. Okay, so which of your characters comes easiest for you to do? So if we're talking about like easiest voice, that would probably be, kind of the more basic ones, the ones that basically just use my voice. So like the coworker, I wasn't changing my voice really for that one. Ivan isn't really much of a voice change for me. I try to maybe change my intonation with him to make everything like, a little bit softer and a little bit more careful. But he's a pretty easy voice to do. In terms of like getting into the character, it kind of depends. I don't have trouble getting into most of them. I'll listen a little bit to some of the previous audios to kind of get myself back in that headspace and kind of remember exactly the way that I did the voice. Also, full disclosure, I don't think I'm very good at from video to video maintaining that much of a voice. Like, especially with some of them, if you listen to them from like start to finish, the voices evolve quite a bit. And there's inconsistencies, but I try. But yeah, so easiest for me to do is probably the basic boring ones. Like, I shouldn't call them boring, but the more straightforward ones, like the coworker, or the dreamwalker, or like the voicemail X's. Maybe I don't do much with my voice for them. Yeah. Wait, how low and high can your voice get? Like I said, in terms of like low, my voice doesn't really go that deep. Some of my Davey stuff kind of pushes it. Like, I don't know. Now I'm nervous to do it. Yeah, I don't want to do it. Yeah, my voice doesn't go that low. The most recent Davey explicit preview video, which some of you probably can't watch because it is 18 plus. That one's probably about as low as I go, to put it briefly. How high can my voice get? I don't really know. When I was younger in particular, I used to get a lot of shit. I used to get made fun of for having a high voice. So there is, a little bit of ingrained anxiety and like concern and shame, I guess, about trying to pitch my voice up. So I don't usually try to go very high. Yeah. like Calum, I would say, is my highest voiced character so far that I like do regularly. And his voice isn't even that high. It's mostly just like kind of childish inflections, I would say, if that's even a thing. But just, I don't know, like the way that he talks, like that, like that's definitely not as high as I can go, but I don't really like going into my higher register because I don't know, I don't think it sounds that great. And I think my voice is already, kind of middle of the road-ish. So, I don't know. When I was trying to figure out how to voice Adam, so Adam was my first character where I knew I was going to have two characters speaking in the same video. So from my perspective, maintaining different voices is not that hard because I don't have to make them that different if the videos are never going to cross over. Like, Ivan and Vincent sound fairly similar, and they both sound kind of like me, so that means they also pretty much sound like the coworker and some of the other ones. But when, as long as there's not a video where Ivan and Vincent are talking to each other, I don't think it's that big of a problem, and I don't think it's all that noticeable. But Adam and Vincent in the Vampire Loses Control video, that was the first time where I actually had to have two characters talking back and forth, even though it was very brief. So I knew I had to try to make the voice very different, and I struggled for a long time to figure out how to do that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to pull like an accent, but I'm not very confident in any of my accent abilities, so I didn't want to think about having to do that for any length of time. And like I knew I couldn't really go too much deeper because Vincent already has at least moments when he's like really like close talking, like he can kind of like dip down into a little bit lower. So I needed to make it distinct. So the only way I could think of to do that was to kind of go up and to make him sound like crazy. So very different ways of talking. And I tried to go up and almost sound like lilting kind of a thing. And so, I settled more into an Adam voice over time, and then I killed him, so it didn't matter. But he's also one of the higher voiced ones, I would say. Yeah, that was way more involved than you probably cared about. You probably just wanted me to try to talk low and high. Sorry about that. Okay. Ooh, these are a couple questions. Okay, so my questions. First, sorry that I'm not like saying your guys' names. I'm just sure I would pronounce them all wrong, and I would feel bad about that. I mean, I can try, but yeah, I guess I should try. Oh, but now I feel bad because I didn't do that for the previous people. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna say their names really fast. Madison Heck, go to class. Nota Cartoons, I already called them out. What other questions did I answer? Previ Jungi? Kyan Williams? Danganronpa 2. This is why I didn't want to do this. Oh god, I feel like I'm butchering stuff. Exhaustion at its finest. David Olmos. Leia Nunez? Okay, so now I guess I'll say your names from now on out. I'm sorry. Okay, so Dear Bang Tan. Firstly, what made you want to do ASMR videos? I kind of got into that. Yeah, basically just that I really liked listening to other people's, and I like telling stories. So I thought that this would be a way that I could kind of give back to the community that had given me so much. Oh god, I'm trying to knock shit over. It kind of was a way that I could, give back to the community that had given me so much, and also just it was a way for me to tell the stories that I wanted to tell. In your ASMR videos, who's your favorite character and what's your favorite storyline? Oh god, my favorite character. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it in terms of like favorite to voice, favorite to write. just who do I think is a good character. Those all would probably kind of have different answers. So maybe as we go through, I'll end up giving those different answers. But for this one, my favorite character, just like I'll try to think about it like as a viewer, like who is my favorite person that I made, and probably Asher. I really like him. I think he's a good guy. What's my favorite storyline? Ooh, probably the dam storyline that's kind of unfolding. And I can't really get into why, because part of it hinges on stuff that's going to happen in the future, but I would say that the dam storyline is my favorite one. Where are you from? I was actually born in Ohio, but my parents only lived there for like 9 months after I was born, and then we moved to Arizona, where I was raised and where I have lived ever since. So really, if you ask me like where am I from, I would say Arizona in the US, which is probably obvious just from my voice, but sorry. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? Oh god. I would love to be able to like selectively slow down time. So I could like slow down time around me, but like I could still move like in what's real time to me. Like that would be amazing. You could do so much stuff with that. But I also like invisibility. And I also like telekinesis. But for like utility's sake, probably time, because that'd be pretty crazy. Have you done voice acting before? Because you'd be great for anime, just putting it out there. Well, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Have I done voice acting before? No. No, I have not. This channel is the first, vocal work I've ever done. I've never recorded anything for anything before. So no, this channel is kind of my first foray into that. But thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Also, the rest of your comment is very nice as well. I'm just not reading like most of the congratulations just because like I don't know. I'm not great at taking compliments. It makes me really anxious. And for the sake of this, it makes me kind of feel like I'm bragging if I sit here and read all these nice comments. And I don't like that. Yeah, okay, next. Hannah George. If you could change one thing in the world, what would you change? Oh god, this is like a legit question. Oh god, there's so many things that definitely need changed. Systemic racism, hate crimes just in general. I guess I'll just go broad with there's like the hierarchy of needs kind of thing. And I think it's Maslow. Is it Maslow's hierarchy of needs? It's been a while since I studied psychology. But yeah, I think it's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And on the bottom, the most basic needs is like food and shelter and stuff. And that's such a problem for so many people already. So if there was one thing I could change in the world, like obviously there are so many things I would love to change, but I would probably have to say like food, that everyone has access to like food so that no one's starving anymore, like because that's obviously a really bad problem around the entire world. So, and there's a dog. Oh god, please no. I'm sorry about the dog. Hopefully he'll shut up soon. That's not my dog, by the way. Duncan's pretty quiet. That one's named Joey, and he's an asshole. Okay, do you think grapes are tiny watermelon? No. I think there's a lot of pretty fundamental differences there. Well, first of all, like, you don't eat the rind of a watermelon, or at least I don't think you should, but you just, like, you eat a whole grape. And I just think the consistency inside is very different. Like, I like watermelon. I really don't like grapes. Like, from a texture perspective, I love grape flavored things. I don't like the, like, actually eating a grape. I think they're kind of, I don't know. I don't like that. That might have been controversial. Oh well. So do I think grapes are tiny watermelon? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say no. Do you know that you're the most amazing person literally ever? I am not, but that's very, very kind of you to say. Okay, alright, Red Guy from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, which I haven't watched that in forever, but I used to love that when I was younger. Here are some questions. Are there going to be new characters coming up? Yes, there's going to be a lot of new characters. When I kind of started my channel, I made the decision very early on that I wanted to, I'm sorry for the computer noise in the background, by the way, guys. Hopefully it calms down. I decided pretty early on in my channel, well, before I ever made the channel, that I wanted it to constantly have multiple storylines running at once where new characters were being introduced. I didn't want it to be like, oh, you know, like my first video was a vampire video, so I am going to, over the course of my next, you know, however many uploads, tell the entire vampire story, and then, and only then, am I going to move on to, okay, now it's a werewolf story. Like, I wanted to have a lot of plots going at once, so that there was kind of something for anyone. And, so yeah, there's going to be new characters coming up, for sure. For as long as this channel's around, you're going to keep getting new characters. Oh my god, the dog. Okay. How do you join the Discord server? So I have a link in the description of every video. You totally should join Discord. It's really fun. We have a good time there. There's a lot of really cool people, and you should check it out. How do you come up with your stories? Kind of touched on this, but this is going to be a little more specific, so I'll get into this one. Well, I don't know if I have a good answer. Sorry. How do I come up with my stories? I just kind of try to like brainstorm about them. I don't necessarily like plan everything out super far ahead. There are things that I will plan out in advance, but how do I come up with stories? I just try to brainstorm. I listen to music. I will, you know, read and watch stuff, and, you know, take some inspiration from some things. But primarily, it's just kind of brainstorming on my own. That probably wasn't very helpful. Sorry. Okay. Purple Rose. Question: how did you come up with your channel name? So redacted just kind of came from, I don't know. I mean, it was just a phrase that I had heard, just like a real life phrase of, you know, like when you go through documents and stuff and you need to like X stuff out, you know, you redact them and you like black stuff out. I always thought that was kind of cool aesthetically when people kind of played with that concept of, you know, like you see like these like government documents and like there's like all these huge black lines on them and stuff, and you're like, ooh, that's like the good shit, that's like the secrets that they have to like hide. So I always thought like that concept of redacting things was kind of cool, and I liked aesthetically. So originally, you know, my aesthetic was gonna kind of be that my like my profile picture and a lot of my thumbnails and stuff, you would never see my eyes because I would do like a black bar over them, because that's kind of like a, not a redacting thing, but that's kind of like a thing too, is that you like put black bars over someone's eyes so they can't be identified. So I was going to do that and then have it say redacted over top of it, and I played around with that a little bit, and I ended up not liking the black bar aesthetic when it came to like my actual like profile and my thumbnails, so I got rid of that. And just kept the word redacted over my face, for my profile picture at least. Sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night. I didn't mean to yawn. It's a good question. I'm not bored with it, I promise. Yeah, so that was kind of where it came from, and then just ASMR because, you know, that's what I'm doing. I just think redacted is a cool word, and I think it's a word that looks cool in the right font. How do you get the background? They look really cool. I'm assuming like the thumbnails for my videos is kind of what you're getting at. It kind of depends on the thumbnail. In general, in terms of what's in them, so that basic structure that I have of a pile of tapes, and then like the tape that the video is about is on top of it. I took that picture from, I had a lot of cassettes and stuff, so I printed out my own new cover art for them, and then put that into the cassette cases, and then just kind of like, set the cassettes down, piled up on top of each other, and took a picture of that, and I kind of go from there. Some other people ask more like behind the scenes, so I'll get into that later with those questions. But then just in general for my thumbnails, like for like what I put on the cover art, I make them from images that are either free use or that I pay for, and I kind of, cobble them together and then edit them and stuff, and go from there. And like I said, some more people ask kind of a little bit more in depth about that later, so I'll touch on that more when we get to those. Let's see. I was wondering if you, Messy Paintbrush asked, I was just wondering if you were okay with people using your audio for animatics, if they credit you, of course. Yes, that's totally fine. Go for it. I think that's really, really cool. I am here to foster creativity in whatever way that, whatever form that takes. It's very surreal that people would even want to do that. So yes, you are very much allowed to use my audio for stuff like that with credit, because that's, I just think that's crazy that you would even want to. Jaleel Edwards says, do you deserve this? And then later says, of course you do, you're amazing. Well, thank you for putting it like that. But in all seriousness, there definitely are times when it doesn't feel like I deserve this. Like it doesn't feel like I deserve the number of subscribers or the number of patrons, or just the amount of positivity that I have received. There's definitely times when that doesn't feel like that's something that I've earned. But I really appreciate it nonetheless. And the more of them I get, well, it's kind of a double-edged sword. The bigger the channel gets, the more it makes me kind of doubt it at times. But also, the more amount of positive comments and stuff that I get that are, saying stuff to that effect, that helps in its own way as well. So, I guess just the conclusion of this is just to say thank you all so much for when you do say things like that. When you do say that you like the stuff, because, reading those comments does help, and it helps kind of quiet down some of those voices a little bit to an extent. So, yeah, thank you. Okay, oh god, Chatham slander. So Chatham is on my Discord, and I refer to her as my problem child because she is. And if you're on Discord for any length of time, you would probably see why. But I love you, Chatham. Okay, so where are the questions? Okay, when did you get your ears pierced? Are there any other piercings you want in the future? And what about tattoos? When did I get my ears pierced? Oh shit. I got them kind of late. I wanted to get them in high school, but I was afraid people would make fun of me because, Self-doubt and anxiety. I got them in college. I think I got them junior year of college. Yeah, and I went to Claire's. Don't do that. I mean, it worked fine for me, but I've heard horror stories, and so it'd probably be best if you actually go to a real place. Well, I mean, for the bottom piercings anyway. The lobe piercings, I mean. Are there any other piercings you want in the future? I'm pretty good with the ones I got. I've thought about getting second ones in my lobes, but I don't know. My earlobes aren't really that big, I don't think, so I don't know how well they'd fit. I briefly toyed with the idea of getting my nose pierced, just because one time for a Halloween costume, I had like a fake like ring one in, and I liked how that looked, but I don't know if I'd actually ever do that, but I've considered it. Ooh, when I was younger and I was in my emo phase, I wanted snake bites so bad, but like not the ring ones, like the flathead ones, like under your lip. Ooh, I wanted those so bad. I did not get them, and I'm kind of glad I didn't. But I wanted those really bad in the past. What about tattoos? So here's the thing with tattoos. I think tattoos are cool. I think they look great on a lot of people, and I have considered getting tattoos, but to be honest, I know like this is the answer that like a lot of people give, but like I think I'm just too like, I don't know, indecisive to get a tattoo. Like, it needs to be something that like you want on your body for the foreseeable future, and like my taste changes just so much that I don't know. There's never really been any one thing like I wanted on me forever, but I have definitely thought about a lot of different ones. I like I've seen ones where people just kind of do like the planets like in a line, just like very like basic, like literally just like kind of like almost like vector art. I thought that would be kind of cool on like the back of my bicep, but then like if your arm gets bigger or smaller, that would like fuck that up and stuff. And that's kind of detailed like line art because it would be pretty like thin and small, so I don't know that would hold up well. For a while I wanted to on my forearms, like on the, I don't really know how to describe it without like showing, but on like the side of my forearms, I kind of wanted to get, for a while I wanted to get this is like cringy now, but I wanted to get you can't wake up, this is, no wait, how does the phrase go? Oh yeah, you can't wake up, this is not a dream, on my left arm. And then on my right arm I wanted to say you can wake up, this is just a dream. I don't really know why I wanted that, I can't remember it. I think part of it was from a Halsey lyric actually. The first part, and then I just liked like the inversion of that. And then I thought of like a whole cool like plot around that about like a person who like has that. And then I was watching a lot of shows that were like mindfucky at the time, and so I was thinking about like, that then they are somehow in some kind of like alternate reality, and the way that they figure that out is that like their tattoos have like switched or something. I don't know, it was a whole thing, whatever. For a while I also wanted to get one that had like a semicolon on it, because that was a thing that I think it's a real thing. I watched it on BuzzFeed, I don't know, don't hate me. But where like a semicolon in like a tattoo kind of a thing is meant to symbolize mental health, because a semicolon, it grammatically represents a place where you could have ended a sentence but you didn't, and so the idea from like a mental health perspective is kind of that same idea that like you could have maybe you could have given up or something, or you could have ended the conversation, but that you actually wanted to continue it, and foster that conversation about mental health, which obviously we need to be a lot more open about talking about mental health issues. So that was something that I had considered. Like on that tattoo that I talked about with like the planets, I was thinking that like the Earth, where that would just be like basically like a black dot, that Earth would be basically like the head of a semicolon. So it's like the planets, but then Earth is technically like a semicolon, where like Earth is the head of it. But yeah, but I'm too inconsistent, so I don't think I'd ever get any of them. But those were some things I thought about, and they're probably lame. Are there any video games you haven't gotten around to playing? What are they? Yes, there are so many video games I have not gotten around to playing. I literally own all these games that, like, I'm looking at the pile now that, like, I haven't even played, that I bought. I've never played Red Dead Redemption 2, even though I pre-ordered that. I've never played the Assassin's Creed that's like Egyptian. I pre-ordered that one, like the special edition. Never played it. Oh god, I have a lot of games. Yeah. Anyway. Did you know that I love and support you? That's the most That's the most important question. Also, no, I'm not going to pull a chatham. If you'd like to find out what pulling a chatham means, join my Discord. Not to plug the damn thing, but yes, I did know that, and I love and support you too, Chatham. Anyway, moving on. I'm not good with feelings. Just Sarah asks, if you would describe yourself in one word, what would it be? One word. Fuck. That's not the word. But describe myself in one word, what would it be? Is it too, like, whatever, just say, like, complex. Because it's true. I mean, there's a lot. I don't know how you could sum up any person in one word. I'd like to think hardworking, but I'm also pretty lazy. It just depends on what the thing is. We'll just go with complex, even though that's a complete cop-out answer. Sorry. The most interesting book you read. Most interesting book. That's different from, like, favorite book. Most interesting. This is kind of weird, but I actually really liked the book Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, and I thought it was interesting. What made it interesting to me, other than it just being, like, an exploration of dystopian future tropes, which, I'm not a huge fan of dystopian stuff, but I thought it was handled in an interesting way that I found a lot more palatable and actually fun to read than, like, 1984. If any of you like 1984, I'm sorry. I absolutely hated that book. But I thought Brave New World was a really interesting way of exploring that dystopian ideas with maybe a little bit of a different lens. So yeah, that was a very interesting book that I read, I guess. What is your opinion on psychology? I love psychology. I think it's really interesting as a field. I was a psychology major for my first year in college, and I really enjoyed it. But then I had concerns about how I would make money in the future. So I changed majors and kind of figured that psychology psychology was something where it was like, I can always study that because I am interested in it. That can always be like a hobby of mine to like study that and read up on it. And that's something that I could easily do while having a different career, provided that career also was something that, I had an interest in. Like, I don't regret having left psychology because I still have a fond place for it in my heart, and I still, do research and stuff on it, just on my own terms, not as a career. Do you have a pet? Yes. As mentioned, I have a dog named Duncan. From 1 to 10, how cute do you think you are? Spoiler 200. Oh, God. Again, that's very sweet of you to say. Number-wise, I have no idea. Okay. Brianna. We did that one. Favorite song? Yeah, probably Me Amore right now. How old are you? I'm 27 years old. Which is probably older than a lot of you thought. And if that's the case, sorry. When is your birthday? My birthday is July 21st of 1993. What's your hobby? My hobby. Probably writing, honestly. Whether it's for videos or not, I really genuinely enjoy it, and it was basically what my free time consisted of well before I ever made a channel. So yeah, writing. Wolf Soul or Wolf Sowl? I'm sorry, I'm not sure how you'd want it pronounced. Also, my throat made a gross noise. Sorry for that as well. Quick question: how do you come up with your stories? Does something inspire you, or do you just sit there and think, "What if we kidnapped the listener?" Yeah, I've kind of touched on this one, but I get inspiration from a lot of things. But there is a certain degree of just sitting there and being like, okay, but what if I did this? Like, how would that work out? Which leaves some stuff on the cutting room floor. I don't think I've ever had the explicit thought of, but what if we kidnapped the listener? Though, I don't think I've had that one specifically. But Blonde Freak, I want to know what you like to do for fun, like hobbies and stuff like that. So what do I do for fun? Like I said, like writing is a hobby, but in terms of fun, I love to play video games. I have an Xbox, I have a Switch, I have a GameCube, I have a 360. I think that's it. But yeah, I love to play video games. I love to play board games with my friends. Actually, we all really like board games. Like pretty involved ones, like Scythe or Catan. Oh god, what's that one we've been playing? Carcassonne, I think. Is another one we've been playing a lot. We really like pretty detailed strategic games, board games. That's something that I really like to do with my friends. Okay, here are my questions. What's your favorite Disney movie? Hercules. What inspired you to make your own characters? So I've always really enjoyed making my own characters. When I was younger, I did like a little bit of fan fiction stuff, not as like a channel, just literally as like writing it for my own, just for my own, myself, basically, just to read. But especially with like the channel, and I started to write more in general, I found a lot of joy in making my own characters and defining their own personalities and not feeling like I had to obey, someone else's pre-established rules for a character. So it's not exactly your question, but that is a reason why like you're not going to see pre-existing characters that I'm now just like doing my own spin on. Like I know a lot of people do, and I don't watch the show, so if I like fuck this up, I'm sorry. But like the My Hero Academia stuff, with Bakugo and stuff, I know like a lot of people will do that and voice those characters and stuff, and more power to them. But you're not really gonna see that on mine. I'm only ever gonna do. I guess I shouldn't say never, but I don't plan on ever doing any characters that aren't my own original characters. So yeah, I guess that's kind of an answer. Kind of wanted to talk about hobbies and music. What's the last TV show you binged? That I binge watched? Oh Jesus, there goes my phone. That I binge watched was honestly probably Star Trek Discovery, because I held off on watching that one until I could watch both seasons back to back. Again, yes, Star Trek is probably gonna keep coming back. But yeah, I think that was the last one that I binge watched. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of movies either. I don't really binge watch stuff. Although I would much rather binge watch something than like be on the hook about it for like weeks on end. So I would rather binge watch something, but I don't binge watch much. Just a comment. All these comments are very sweet, guys. Thank you. Okay. Potato Catbug 123. Favorite color, gray. Which ASMR was your favorite to voice? Okay, so which video was my favorite to voice? Hold on, I need a little water, sorry. Okay. I'm not used to talking much, to be honest, which is probably funny considering my channel, but I really don't talk much in real life. Which ASMR was your favorite to voice? Which one was my favorite to voice? The first Asher video was really fun to voice because I was testing out a new voice and I really liked it right off the bat. So that one was probably my favorite video to voice. There are other ones maybe for like my favorite video or like my favorite one, you know, from some other perspective. But no, my favorite one to voice was probably the first Asher one. Who is your favorite ASMR person? I don't know exactly what that means. Is it like my favorite person who does ASMR? Because in that case, I don't know. I don't really have one favorite. I really love a lot of channels. I'm gonna save this one just because I know some people ask kind of more like channel specifically. So I'll get back to that. But thank you. Does ASMR from Jaleel Edwards again? Does ASMR feel therapeutic, and is it a calming escape for you? Listening to other people's ASMR, yes, that feels therapeutic and is an escape for me. I first got an ASMR in college when I was having really, really, really bad anxiety and difficulty sleeping, and it really helped with all of that. So yeah, and it still is that for me. It still is very much an escape and a way that I can, relax. Listening to my own stuff does not do that, and I don't really listen to my stuff much after I have created it. And creating it in and of itself is not therapeutic for me, if that makes sense. Like, I don't feel relaxed by having made stuff. It can be stressful in the moment, and it can be really stressful when I'm editing it, and it can be really stressful when I release it. But experiencing ASMR from other people, yes, that is therapeutic, and it's kind of an escape. Quinn asked, do you have any pet peeves? If so, what are they? Sorry, that's my roommates. Yeah, I definitely have pet peeves. I have a lot of them. If so, what are they? But this is one of those things where it's like, yes, of course I know I have a lot of them, but then like if you ask me like what are they, I don't know. This is so specific, but for some reason it's in my brain right now. I absolutely hate the word instantaneously, and I hate when people use it because I find it so unnecessary, because you can convey the exact same intention by just saying instantly, and it is easier to say and it's a better sounding word. So I hate the word instantaneously. Which doesn't exactly answer your question. What's like a real pet peeve of mine? Fuck. I hate people who are on their phone the whole time when you're trying to talk. Like, I'm not saying I'm not on my phone a lot, just in general. Like, I definitely am. But if we're having a conversation, like, and obviously if it's, an emergency or something, or like an important text, and you need to at least make sure that it's not an important text, like, I get that. But like, I wish more people would really be present in their conversations. And this is coming from a person who is not very good at conversing. But I try to make a concerted effort to actively show how much attention I am trying to give someone when they're talking to me. I try to, be present and to show that. And so then when people don't do that, that can kind of annoy me. Anyway, oh yeah, here's one of the big ones. But I did look at these briefly, and they're really good questions, so I'm excited for this. But Okay, so Replay Camera 2, which I guess your name is Chloe. Hi, Chloe. Had some questions. What kind of ASMR channels did you listen to before you started uploading your own content? And what inspired you to take that leap? So when I first started out listening to ASMR content, I was mostly watching like ASMR videos, more of like, video content. I've never really been a fan of trigger videos. I've always been more of a roleplay video kind of guy. I find a lot of triggers to not trigger my ASMR. I find them to just be very annoying. I love that they're good for some people, but they're not for me. The things that have, trigger my ASMR are usually more like personal attention, soft-spoken, that kind of stuff. So like I love role plays both from that perspective of relaxing me and just being escapism, like any kind of content would be. And also, I love stories and people telling stories, and I love, the framework of a role play video versus just a trigger video where there's not a story that you're telling. You're just popping bubble wrap or whatever, which is good on its own. I'm not trying to like drag it. It's good for a lot of people, but it's not really for me. So I mostly watched roleplay channels. I'm trying to think of ones from back in the day. I don't watch video ASMR stuff as much anymore, but like ASMR requests, Heather Feather, Ephemeral Rift, Phoenician Sailor. Oh god, I feel like I've forgotten a lot of them. That's really sad. I should go back and start watching some more of them. Yeah, those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head. Fuck, which is sad. But yeah, those are the ones I used to listen to. And now I listen to more like roleplay channels, just like auditory, more so than the video ones. Okay. What inspired me to take that leap? I had been meaning to for a long time, and then I finally just kind of was like, I was at a place in my life where I don't know how much I want to get into it. Sorry. But suffice to say, I was at a point in my life where I felt like I wanted to kind of have an outlet for a lot of things, and I wanted to finally get, the ball rolling and just kind of prove to myself that I could do something like this, and that I could actually commit myself to a schedule of doing something and getting it out there and kind of overcoming a lot of the anxiety that is very much inherent to me, enough to actually put my content out there into the public space. So I just kind of reached a breaking point, I guess, a good breaking point. But yeah, that kind of was just like, okay, you gotta just try this or you're never gonna do it. So I decided to try it, and I'm really glad I did. For most creators, the writing process, conceptualizing characters, world, and dialogue, or in your case, monologue, tends to be the most arduous. What part of the creative writing process do you find the most difficult, and why? I love the conceptualization part of it, of imagining the characters and the world and everything. I absolutely love that part of it. And I do, I take a lot of pride in my dialogue. So I actually really do enjoy that part as well. I make a concerted effort to really, although to your point, yes, it would be monologue. But I try to make, I try to make an effort to make sure that it sounds natural and it sounds conversational. I really want it to feel like you're actually talking to a person. And so I really do enjoy that part of it. But which part do I find the most difficult? I mean, I guess I would say like legitimately just writing it out, just because like it does come down to an exactness of figuring out like how exactly you want to convey the ideas. So just by virtue of that, of the level of complication, it's probably the most difficult, but I do really enjoy it. I really like basically all of the parts of the creative writing process. Do you create your characters first and then the situation they, the listener, find themselves in, the inverse, or do they both develop simultaneously? It depends on the story. For some of them, I came up with the character idea first. Like I came up with the idea of Davy, for example, first. I came up with the idea of this tsundere werewolf who's kind of an asshole, but you know, is sweet down there somewhere eventually. And then I tried to imagine the scenario of, okay, like what kind of stuff would you put him through to help you learn more about his character that would be fun to engage in, things like that. So sometimes it's the character, sometimes it's the situation. So like with Ivan, I did not think about Ivan, the yandere character. I did not think about him as a character at first. I thought about the situation of, you know, a yandere guy who likes you, who kidnaps you and everything, which is kind of, you know, the trope that we all fall into at some point as a content creator, apparently. So with him, it was the situation first, and then it was, okay, I know I want to do that because that's something that I think I, you know, would kind of stretch my writing muscles to write a character like that. So I'm interested in writing it, and I think people would be interested in listening to it. So with him, that was a situation first. Oh, sorry, I almost dropped something. And then the character. But yeah, and then sometimes it also happens simultaneously. That happened a lot with, trying to think, that kind of happened with Calum. Calum kind of rose out of simultaneously thinking of, okay, this is a character and a situation that would kind of happen together. So kind of all of the above. Can you walk us through your creative process when you construct a character? So it changes with each character. Like I said, it's kind of different. But in general, I kind of try to start with, in the case of my stories, because they're primarily paranormal, not all of them I know, but a lot of them are, I try to think about, you know, what are they? So like, are they a werewolf? Are they an elemental? Are they a demon? Like, what are they? And then I start to ascribe traits to that character. And so in some cases that's playing into stereotypes about that, like, you know, race, and sometimes it's playing against them, and sometimes it's just having them regardless of what they are. Like with I'm trying to think. So like obviously with Ivan, it's like, okay, well, he's gonna be like manipulative and everything, so that kind of is like a given. Versus some of the other ones where it's kind of like an inversion. So like a lot of times when you think of a character that's like associated with fire, then they're gonna be a hothead. They're gonna be mean. And so with Damien, I kind of, you know, play with that inversion where, yes, he has those traits, but he also is actively railing against them and trying not to let those be a part of himself. With the werewolf boys, a lot of times people associate werewolf with like, you know, like gruff, tougher, alpha kind of characteristics, and Davy kind of fits the bill for that in a lot of ways. So, you know, oh my god, sorry. Davy kind of fits the bill for that, so that was kind of like, you know, in line with what that character would be. Whereas like Asher is kind of, you know, flips a lot of that on its head. That, you know, he's nice and sweet and kind of more submissive in some ways. Yeah, and then I like to think about what guns, and then usually I think about what situations I would put them in. So that's kind of the flow of it. Your audios tend to be heavily scripted, but do you give yourself space during recording to improv, and or do you come up with story elements or ideas during the recording process that you either set aside for a separate episode or integrate into the one you're currently recording? Yes and no. Well, yeah, my audios are scripted. I script the whole thing, but then when I'm actually recording them, I do leave myself room for improv, for adjusting things on the fly, changing wording, changing sentence structure, adding, removing. So I do give myself room for that improv work. I like to script just because I like to get all of my thoughts out, so I know I don't miss anything. I like to plan things. I'm kind of a planner, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to voice a scripted thing and make it sound not particularly scripted. So all of that combined makes that an option for me that some other people, may not have that, may not feel the same way, but for me, that's what works. The second part of the question, yes, I do come up with some stuff, not in the recording process, but in the writing process, that then I realize, oh wait, this would fit better in a later episode or something. So then I'll kind of shift that and put that to the side and save that for later. What aspects do you feel you've improved on since your first audio, and what would you like to improve on for future audios? I think I've gotten better at, what have I gotten better at? I think I've gotten a little bit better at editing, a little bit better at integrating like some sound effects and stuff. I'm obviously still learning in every aspect of this, so but I think I've improved a little bit with that. What would I like to improve on in future audios? Pushing my range some more, trying to make the characters sound different. Getting a little better at noise reduction, which should be helped when I move as well, because I'll have less editing to do in that regard, but I think that's something that I could improve on. Has my creative process changed since my first audio? Not really. I've kind of been the same general process from the very get-go. Do you have anyone who helps proof your work before you release it, or do you work alone? It's just me. I work completely alone. Nobody proofs it. I just write it, review it, record it, edit it, and yeah, it's kind of a army of one over here. Are there any scripts or concepts that ended up on the cutting room floor, and why did you decide against releasing them? Full-blown scripts? No, I haven't rejected any of them. I've stalled some of them for later and for retooling, just because I realized, like, well, I don't know if the character is there yet, That's pretty much the only reason that's ever come up, is that I was like, I don't think it's time for that character to do that or feel that or say that yet. So just saved it for later. What short and long-term goals do you have for your channel? Short-term, just maintain this consistency, explore new characters, stuff like that. I've never thought about it in terms of numbers or like set myself goals really in that regard. I never imagined I would ever get to 1,000, much less 10. So my goals are not really number based. I know a lot of people's are, but for me, that's not what I'm doing it for. That's not really how I think about my channel. So long-term goals, I mean, I guess 100k subscribers, but that's ridiculous. I don't think I'm ever gonna get there. That's not a number that I'm hinging any kind of feelings of success on. I already feel more. Oh my god, fuck you. My roommate is doing something stupid. I'm trying to record this one during the day to get it done because I knew it was going to take a long time. So sorry that there's more background stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Long-term goals is just to keep doing it, really. The numbers don't really mean much to me. They shock me and make me very happy, but I don't think about the goals of my channel in those terms, really. My goal from the very beginning, short, long term, whatever, has always just been to make stuff that people want to engage in and want to listen to. So as long as I'm doing that, I don't know, I feel pretty successful just as I am. How do you choose the names for your characters? It depends on the character. I really like naming characters. I think it's really important to think carefully about the names that you do. So it's just kind of thinking about it a lot and about the characteristics that they have and the characteristics that they might show later. And that is just a name that I like to hear because I'm going to have to be reading it and stuff a lot in comments and stuff in the future. Because once you name a character something, you can't really change it. So I have to think about that. So I think carefully about, what name am I going to be okay looking at for a long time. But also just, what's a name that I enjoy. I'm going to kill him. What concepts, character, scenarios would you like to try in the future? There's a lot of them. I'm pretty open to most things. Yeah, I really love supernatural stuff. So I want to explore new races and get more into how magic works in this world that I'm building, and all of the layers of that. And last one. Okay, now that you're open to polls requests via Patreon, do you feel a pull in either direction between what you want to put out versus what your listeners want? So I kind of touched on this in the beginning, but obviously I want to make stuff that you guys want to hear. If there are characters that you like, I want to continue making stuff for them so that, you guys are getting what you want. But all of that still, quite honestly, is secondary to the real intent of this channel, which is to tell stories that I want to tell. Now, what you want to hear and what I want to tell, there is a lot of crossover there, which is why I think this channel has worked really well. But do I feel a pull to put out what listeners want versus what I want? Yeah, at times. I mean, I read all of your suggestions and stuff, and I consider them, and there definitely is, some pull between what is being requested and what I have planned. But to me, I don't think that's a bad pull. I don't think it's hurting the channel at all. I think it helps it. I think it helps me think about, what stuff I should put out. And more than anything, it just kind of influences maybe the order of how I do things. I'm not going to make anything that I'm not comfortable making or that I don't want to make. So any video that you see, I wanted to make it, or or at least I thought it was important enough to make it, so I wouldn't, so at least know that when you see my stuff. Now, the timing of when it came out and everything, that's kind of more flexible. So, I'm willing to look at things and go oh, okay, people are really liking Davey. Maybe I'll, try to do some more Davey stuff right now. And then, and if that by, by extension, then stalls some of the Vincent or the Ivan stuff, then that's just kind of what happens, things like that. So I don't feel like that give and take is bad between what is asked of me and what I want to make, because I think I find the middle ground. And in terms of the polls and requests via Patreon, with the polls at least, I kind of decide the frame of the question. So in doing so, I still kind of have the control, if that makes sense. Not that I don't want your opinions or that I don't want you to influence the story. Of course I do. Otherwise I wouldn't offer that. But I'm never going to offer anything in a poll that I wouldn't want to make. So by my estimate, that's kind of the best of both worlds for both of us. I get to, decide what I want to make, and you guys get to influence, maybe when I make that. So I think it's kind of, a team effort. I don't think that's, something that's antagonistic in any way. and I don't feel like it's, corrupting the idea of my channel or the spirit behind it. That was a lot of questions. They were very good questions though, which is why I wanted to answer them all. But oh my god, this video is gonna be long. Holy shit. Okay. Coffee Jelly asked, do you enjoy doing ASMR? Yes, I do really enjoy it. It's very fun for me. I really like putting the stuff together, planning it. Editing it's kind of a bitch, but it is what it is. Yeah, no, but I do really enjoy doing it. Mocha dos K-pops, Mocha dos K-pops. Will you continue with the Yandere videos? I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're still going. I don't have, none of my series have wrapped up yet. So just in general, everything I make will probably, if it doesn't have a sequel yet, it will probably get one at some point. And I can say at this exact point in time, none of my series have come to an end. So whatever series you like, there will be more of it. I like bread, yes. When did you really get into voice acting? When I started the channel. I hadn't done it before. Yeah, that's I guess that's basically it. What's your favorite food and favorite fruit? My favorite food, probably pizza and wings, actually, in case you can't tell where that came from, because I'm basic. Favorite fruit, apple, I guess. Answer that. What's your favorite animal? When I was a kid, rhinos were my favorite animal. I still like rhinos a lot. I like whales. In terms of pets, I really like cats, which is funny because all I have is a dog, but I love cats a lot. I also love my dog. Yeah. Can we get a reverse comfort for Asher? Yeah, probably at some point. I mean, I like that Asher gets to be the happy one, but people are multifaceted and complex, and even happy people need help, sometimes. And a lot of times, the happy people aren't great at asking for it because they feel like they have to be a happy person. So I think there's definitely some room there to make him one. Have you considered doing longer video? Oh, sorry, G Goody. Have you considered doing longer videos? Also, have you considered making a Patreon? So I do have a Patreon. The link is below. Feel free to check that out. Have you considered doing longer videos? Yeah, I mean, I have. For me, the content kind of dictates the length of the video. So, the Android one and the latest vampire video are both quite long, over 30 minutes. I don't know, that's long to me anyway. But it's because I felt that those were stories that needed to be told within one sitting. So yeah, I kind of let the content dictate that. But yeah, I'm always down to do long videos. Okay, full of greenery. Is it harder to write the character or is it harder to get into character? It depends on the character. In general, I guess it's probably harder to write it just because of the length of time it takes. For me to get into a character is not usually very hard. I just listen to one of the previous audios maybe, and just kind of do it. I don't have to psych myself up too much. Some of them are harder than others. Like Adam is kind of hard to get into, just because that's a headspace that, believe it or not, I don't usually operate in. But yeah, I mean, realistically, I'd say it's harder to write them just because even though I really enjoy that that just takes longer for me. Okay, Aizawa's whore. I only have one question. If you could, I'm guessing it's supposed to be work at. If you could work at either Femboy Hoot, oh my god. If you could work at either Femboy Hooters, E-Girl Subway, or Goth IHOP, choose carefully because this is a lot about your mental state. Of those three choices, probably Goth IHOP. But if there's like an emo Denny's option, I'd be very down for that. We'll put it that way. Look at Bun says, I would like to know if your family and friends know about this channel, and if yes, what do they think about it? Yeah, my family knows I do this. They don't watch the videos or anything, thank God. But they know that I do it. They know the details of it in the sense of, kind of what in general it is. What Patreon is, what that means, what ASMR is, they know that kind of stuff. And my friends, yeah, I've told most of my friends. Again, they also don't listen to it because that would be awkward, among other things. But yeah, no, a lot of the important people in my life know about the channel, and they're all very happy for me and very supportive and proud of the success that I have. So I'm very lucky in that regard. I'm very grateful. FJ, yeah, I already said I'm 27. What's your zodiac sign? From Nala Nicholson. I'm a Cancer. Do you have? Yeah, and I have a dog named Duncan. Dr. Plant. Hi. From Discord. Which 3 videos were your favorite to film, and if they're different, which 3 videos are you most proud of? They are different. Which 3 were my favorite to film? Like I said, I really liked doing Asher 1. That one was really fun. The second Calum one was fun because I feel like I had his character down a little bit more, and sometimes it's fun to play a fast-talking, kind of derpy, very sweet boy. It's very different from most of the characters I end up voicing. So I really liked, I enjoyed filming Calum 2, and favorite to film. What was another favorite to film? Fuck. I really enjoyed filming the Android one, actually. I really did. That was the first script I ever wrote. It was not the first one I recorded, but it was the first one I ever wrote. And that was very fun to record. That was my first long one. That was kind of a character I had not done yet, and that I have not done too much of since. Character archetype, I mean, of like a more nervous character. I know I have like Lasco, but the technician is kind of a particular brand of nervous, I would say, and that was really fun to film. Which 3 videos am I most proud of? I mean, I'm proud of my first video just in the sense that it represents that I was able to, sit down and actually do this. The content of it, am I the most proud of it? No. But for what it represents, I'm very proud of that one. I'm very proud of the Davy breakdown one. I really liked the way that one came out. And that one was tough to record. There goes my stomach. That one was tough to record for a number of reasons. But I really like how it came out. So that one. What's another one I'm very proud of? Shit. What's one I'm proud of? I mean, I'm just basically proud of everything I put out, which is, I'm really happy I can actually say that. And I don't have anything where I'm like, oh god, I hate that one. Yeah. What's another one? I'm proud of this latest vampire one. The Aftermath one. I'm proud of that one. I think I did well on that one. Okay. Crying over roadkill. Okay, hear me out. Which fast food place has the best fries? McDonald's. Q girl. I kind of answered both of those, but thank you for your questions. Appreciate it. Um, why does this make me cry happy tears? Oh, I don't know, Elise, but I'm sorry for making you cry. Also, if you've been subscribed since July 14th, that's crazy. That's like right at the beginning of the channel. That's really cool. Oh God. Okay, this is not a bad question, but there's a running thing on Discord where I hate. I don't even know how to talk around this. I call this and like the version with use cursed words that I hate saying, that I don't say, except on very special occasions. But I will say it because it's your name. So, and I'll probably say it stupidly just because I don't really know how to say it. I'm guessing just a whoa. What are we supposed to refer to you as? Because in my head, I've just been calling you Red. You can call me that. That's fine. I mean, on Redacted, everyone just calls on Redacted. Fuck. On Discord, most people just call me Redacted. Yeah. You can call me Eric. I mean, that's my name. I don't care too much. You know, that's fine. I'm not weird about it. But yeah, I probably Redacted is what most people say. But if you want to call me Red, that's fine. Some of the people on the Theory channel on Discord are calling me Ready now, which is weird, but it's fine. I'm good with it. The Shadow. If you were a ghost, where is the one place you would haunt? Oh, fuck. Where's a place I would haunt? If it meant I could ride the rides, I'd haunt Six Flags Magic Mountain. Do you have regrets? Yeah. I understand that a lot of people say like, oh yeah, I live without regrets. I personally don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's possible. Now, what I think they're getting at when they say that is that they live their life in a way where they do not feel, held back in any way by the things that they regret. And I do think that's true. And I think that's an admirable way to live. But yeah, of course I regret things. I'm a human, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I will continue to make lots of mistakes. But for whatever it is worth, I honestly think that I regret the things that I didn't do more than I regret the things that I did. I have really bad anxiety, and social anxiety in particular, and I've let that hold me back from a lot of things. In my personal life, and from like a work perspective as well. So I really regret that, I didn't push myself harder to do the things that I was scared to do. Because I think I've lost a lot of opportunities, and a lot of those you don't get back. So, yeah, it'd definitely be more of the things that I didn't do than the things I've done, I guess. What is one thing you would want in the whole world? An end to hunger would be great. Not to circle back to like a pageant answer from that first one, but that would be a lovely thing for there to be. Now, if we're talking selfishly and it's something that I want for myself, oh God, I don't know. I like most of the shit I have. Obviously, I want more, but I don't know. That's because that's just life. But what's one thing I would want? Fuck, I don't know. I'm sorry. so unhelpful. Yeah, I'd want pizza and wings. Angle K, tell us your story. We love to know you better. I don't really know how to. I don't know. I think you'll kind of get the idea of my story from answering other questions and stuff. Hopefully this Q&A helps you to get to know me a little bit better. What's your worst habit or personality? What's my worst personality trait? I obsess over things a lot, which it can be good and bad. I get very obsessed and invested in things, and I feel it very deeply when things maybe don't go the way I had expected them to or planned. I wish I could kind of gate my interests and expectations and things a little bit better, but I'm working on it. We all are. GVIII, are you gonna bring more vampires into the lore, or just stick with Vincent for now? Yeah, there'll be more vampires in the future. Yeah, I don't want to get too into it. But yeah, there will be more vampires. Alex Wilson asks, which of your characters do you think you are most like? I know a couple people have asked this one, and the boring truth is that I'm probably most like the coworker, or or maybe the dream walker if I'm feeling real, confident. Which I don't most of the time or ever. But yeah, probably the coworker, just because he's a normal guy who is just trying to, just because he's pretty normal, and I'm pretty normal. What kind of games do you play, if any? I play primarily Xbox and Switch games, and lots of board games. I like scary games to an extent. I love, my favorite game of all time is Prey, and every single person should play Prey and Prey Moon Crash. It's amazing. You should play it. I also love Dead Space. You should play all of Dead Space except for the third one. The third one is absolute garbage. Just skip it. Save yourself the heartache. So I like some scary games. I love Halo. I'm a diehard Halo fan. I can't help it. I like Destiny and Destiny 2. I like FPSs. Those are kind of the only two I like, though. Because I don't play Call of Duty or any of that. Yeah. I love Dragon Age. Oh my god, one more time. I love Dragon Age Inquisition. That game's really fun. I love basically everything Nintendo comes out with. Sorry, I need more water. I'm not used to talking this much, and this video is very long. And then, yeah, I like to also play, I don't know that this is what you were also asking. Oh, Panda Lover 7809, sorry, I forgot to say your name. I don't know if you meant this as well, but I also love board games as well. So I love more strategic ones like Scythe or Catan, that kind of stuff. I also have played D&D in the past. I don't really do it anymore. There was a period there where I played it a lot. But role-playing games can make me kind of anxious about having to do that live improv kind of stuff. Lots of just very nice comments. And if I miss a question, I'm very, very sorry. I don't think I have yet, but if I do, I'm very sorry. MJ, besides working on the channel, what are the hobbies? What do you like to do in your free time? Yeah, I kind of touched on that already, but I like to hang out with my friends, play games, video, board, and otherwise. Yeah, I like to write, whether it's for the channel or not. Macaron. Do you have, or Macaron, I don't know, sorry. Do you have a general idea in your head for what your characters look like? Specifically Vincent and Adam, I may or may not be simping over them the most. If so, I'd love to draw fan art if you'd be okay with that. Right off the bat, I am totally okay with fan art. I think that's awesome. I can't believe people even want to do fan art of my stuff. Still, to this day, that shocks me to no end. So yeah, if you want to, that's incredible. You can send it to me if you just want me to see it. You can put it on my Discord. We have a creativity channel where people will post all kinds of art that has, whether that's about my channel and my characters or not, they'll put up all kinds of stuff. And they're very supportive and very sweet. So yeah, I love fan art. That's incredible. It still, fucking blows me away that people would even want to. Do you have a general idea in your head of what your characters look like? Maybe vaguely, but I really do push. I don't want to ever, kind of color anyone's lens of what they look like. I go to strides to try to make sure that I don't point out too many defining characteristics of the characters, because I think one of the amazing things about audio work is that you guys get to imagine what it looks like. You get to imagine what the house looks like, the apartment looks like, the town, the amusement park, the people that you're interacting with. I think that's, a gift in its own way, to let your imagination run wild. Not a gift that I'm giving. Oh god, that sounded like self-aggrandizing. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry. But I think that's one of the great things about, this medium, is that there's that option. So, yeah, I don't really start with any kind of an idea of what the characters look like. I just think about them in terms of personality and voice, really. Muriel, was I saying this in a Zoom class with my camera on? Yes, you should not do that. Pay attention to your classes. It's very important. Tenya Ida, I think that's an I. I think that's one of those characters. How did you get into this kind of stuff? How did you find this section of YouTube? I think the way that I first found ASMR in general was, I think it was like some article or something, actually, or maybe it was on Tumblr. I'm not really on Tumblr, but I was a little bit back in college, and I think someone had mentioned it. And I literally just Googled, literally just went to YouTube and typed in ASMR, and I think ASMR requests or somebody came up first. I think I'm remembering that name right. I might not be. Her name was Allie. I don't know if she's still making stuff. And I watched some of that, and that just kind of kicked me off, down this path. And then eventually that segued into more of audio roleplay stuff instead of video. Okay, Aisha Andros. What other we kind of went over hobbies. What did you want to be when you were younger? I mean, since 6th grade, I wanted to be a writer, but younger than that, I wanted to like an author kind of thing. But before that, for a while I wanted to design Legos because I loved Legos. For a while I wanted to design ships because I was obsessed with the Titanic and stuff, and then I figured out that cruise ships and stuff don't look like that anymore, and then I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to be an accountant for a while. I don't know why. I was good at math, and I felt very strongly about it, that I was like, you know what? People don't like being accountants. I want to be an accountant. And then I started to get into higher math and didn't like it, and finance stuff. Well, I work in a business realm. I work in finance, but whatever. Oh my god. Okay. How'd you get into ASMR and writing? ASMR I kind of touched on. How'd I get into writing? I mean, when you're younger, you have to write for school, and not usually creative writing, but, you have to write So I guess that's how I got into it in that sense. And then I just loved reading so much. I read like ravenously as a kid. Loved it. And so then that just sort of translated into, well, I like these stories, but I could write my own stories. I have ideas and stuff. And so that just kind of turned into writing that I then just tried to foster over the years. And I never, made sure I never gave up on it and just kept doing it and getting better at it and practicing at it and trying to write new kinds of things and stuff like that. How did you come up with the idea of the cassettes in the backgrounds for your videos? So, part of this inspiration actually came from another creator, from Hollow VA, which I'm sure you all probably know him. Especially with his earlier stuff, he kind of went for an aesthetic that like had like some VCR aspects, like videotape kind of stuff. With it seemed like he used like that font from like old tapes and stuff, and I kind of liked that. But I was trying to think of my own kind of spin on it, because you want to be original. And when I was growing up, we had a lot of that kind of tape, like videotapes, like VCR, cassette tape, not cassette, you know what I mean, that kind of tapes. And when I was growing up, there was cassette tapes, and I had a lot of them. CDs became a thing also when I was a kid, but I still had a lot of cassettes. So there's a lot of nostalgia there for me. At first I was thinking like, well, yeah, no, yeah. Cassettes are just something like, I think they look cool. I like the aesthetic of that. I like the way that they look. The audio quality is trash, like, let's call it what it is, but like the way they look and what they remind me of, I really like that. So it was loosely inspired by Hollow, but then more heavily inspired just by my childhood and my nostalgia goggles. And who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters, obviously. Another question from Muriel. I think I'm probably saying that wrong. Morale. I'm sorry. This is why I wasn't gonna say names. Anyway, who's one of your favorite characters to voice? One of my favorites to voice is probably Asher. That's a fun voice to pull. Caleb too. Those ones are both fun. But if you had to like gun to my head, favorite to voice, Asher. Sydney asks, what have been your favorite theories, even if they've been wrong? I love reading the theories. It's very fun. What have been my favorite theories? I do love it when you guys theorize correctly. That's always really cool. To be like, ooh, shit, they're figuring it out. My favorite theory? I don't know. I don't think I can pick a favorite. I just really love them all in general. I think that's crazy. Like, so fucking nuts that people care enough about the stuff that I make that they want to actually theorize about it. And like in some cases like write fan fiction of it or do art of it. Like I don't fuck. I'm like stumbling. I just don't know how to like express how crazy that is. And how grateful I am for that. Because I never imagined a day when that would be a possibility. So honestly, they're all my favorites just by virtue of them existing. Number 2, are we gonna get to see Duncan in the dog hoodies? I did buy one. It hasn't gotten here yet. We'll see if he can fit in it. He's grown into being a very solid dog. I got the biggest size. We'll see if he fits. Do you currently have any plans for series that aren't running right now? Ones that I haven't released anything of? Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of ideas for new ones that are coming soon. And also for ones that aren't series yet, are currently one-offs, I have plans to make those into series. So yeah, I definitely have some plans. Flower Gotcha Life 211. I'm 27. I'm Cancer. I have noticed you. If YouTube dies, what will be your plan B? I don't know. I mean, this isn't like my job. It's honestly just a hobby that I really, really enjoy. But in the sense of like, it's not gonna, I'm gonna be fine work-wise if that goes away. Like, literally only in the last like 10 days. Well, no, a little bit longer. Like, it's only been a Patreon for 19 days or whatever at this point. So, if it dies, I will be very sad because I won't have a platform to get this stuff to you guys. But I don't know. I don't really have a plan B in that regard. I guess Vimeo or something. I don't know. I'm sure there's other options. Okay. Quiet loyalty. Don't let the numbers tangle your creativity. That's very good advice, and it's true. And I try to not really let the numbers affect me in that regard. Will you endeavor to do flashback audios for some of your OCs? Yeah, I'm open to the thought of it. I don't have any planned right now, but I know I've gotten a lot of requests for some backstory on, maybe like how Davey and his listener met, or how Asher and his listener met, or just flashbacks in general. So I don't have any explicitly planned right now, but I would definitely be down to do so. Do you script out your stuff or just outline and freeball it? I do script it, but I leave room for myself to improv on it. Cheeto Puff, what kind of mic do you use? I use a Blue Yeti USB microphone with a pop filter. What kind of audio editing program do you use? I use Audacity because it's free and it's pretty robust. For videos, I use Vegas Pro, but that's literally just because I got it in a Humble Bundle. It's super expensive, and if you can't get it for cheap, it's not worth it. I don't think. I'm sure there are cheaper options. And it's definitely overkill for what I do, since I'm not really doing videos in the traditional sense. It's basically just still images. Nikki Hart, the cassettes. Yeah, I kind of went into that. But thank you. Broken Pieces. What ASMR artists do you listen to? To be 100% honest, I don't have as much opportunity to listen as I used to, just because this and my real job and some other stuff have had me very busy lately. So I haven't gotten to listen to as much as I wish I could. But in general, lately, some ASMR artists I listen to, let's see, Hollow. I listen to Hollow. I listen to, I still listen to some. I still do some like some video ones. Like I still do Ephemeral Rift. I still do Jelly Bean Green ASMR. Back to like role play ones. I'm trying to think. Ellis Audio. Liu Audio, Pretty Lonely, you should check him out. Rift Cult Productions is another one that I've started listening to. He's really cool. Hold on, let me kind of look. Who else do we got here? Moody VA. You should all listen to Moody VA. His stuff is really, really good. And he was one of the inspirations for me to actually get started on this. A lot of people were, but he definitely was. I listen to Salem Audio. He's really good. Zombie Cat. Yeah, I don't know, I listen to a lot of stuff. Well, like I said, I haven't been able to listen as much lately. What inspired some of the graphic design you use in your videos? In general, like I said, like the cassettes is just kind of, I like that aesthetic. I like things that are fairly minimalist usually. So that's why I like black backdrops and stuff like that. I like kind of a clean, crisp look. I like kind of a consistent look. Yeah. Um, that's part of what I try to do with like the album covers, like the cassette covers, I guess I should say. Um, I don't always make them look like maybe what a cassette tape actually would have looked like, but it always obeys a certain aesthetic that I really like, which is usually fairly simple and clean. Do you do graphic design for a living? No, I do not. My brother-in-law does. No, but I don't. Do you think you'll ever do a pre-existing character for a video, like from a show or a video game? No, I don't think I will. I like creating my own characters, and like I kind of touched on earlier, I like that because of the freedom that affords me. And in a very basic sense, I worry about like copyright stuff.